Welcome to the Mount Vernon City School District March 15th School Board Meeting. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Trustee Kelly. Here. Trustee Njenga.
Here. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Trustee Adesobi. Present. Trustee Gale. Here. Trustee Lency.
Here.
Trustee Kerwin. Here. Trustee Red. VP White.
Present.
President Saunders.
Here.
Okay, we have our quorum.
Before the superintendent starts with her report, I'd have something to read to the public. As many residents know, the board's concerns regarding the grant programs prompted us to hire an outside firm, Serini and Associates, in November 2022 to examine all aspects of grant procurement, selection of vendors, payments, and all related issues with an initial focus on one particular vendor. That process is ongoing, as the outside audit firm has not yet completed this independent review. Subsequent to the board's hiring of Serini and Associates, the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Northern District of New York on February 10, 2023, directed the production of documents and records related to the grants and/or contracts involving federal government and the City of Mount Vernon School District. The Mount Vernon City School District is in the process of identifying, securing, and procuring the requested records for the U.S. Attorney's Office. In deference to the integrity of the U.S. Attorney's investigation, the board will not engage in public presentations concerning this matter while the U.S. Attorney's Office conducts its investigation. This does not mean that Serini's findings will not be shared at some point in the future. We regret that this will not be able to immediately share the report when it is completed, but we hope you will agree with the Board of Education that the investigation being conducted by the federal government should not be impeded or compromised in any manner. Finally, upon the advice of our General Counsel, the board has retained a law firm called McCarter and English as a special counsel to represent the board's interest in the ongoing federal inquiry of grants. We are mindful that the district will bear additional legal costs as a result of this appointment. However, based on the enormous amount of grant funding that the district receives and the gravity of the current investigation, the board believes in its highly prudent to retain specialized legal representation under the circumstances. While we do not know the full scope or focus of the government's investigation, it is without question that our community's long-term interests are best supported by securing the services of a law firm well-versed in highly specialized area of law. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, firstly, I would like to offer my condolences to the family and friends of Zaire Fernandez. This is a tragic loss for our community, as Zaire was taken from us far too soon. We will continue to support our scholars, teachers, and families as we feel with this loss. Let us have a moment of silence. Thank you. A second student sustained an injury from this unfortunate event. We wish this student a quick recovery and a timely return to school. We ask that students not engage in any behaviors of threats or discuss any retaliations. This behavior is illegal and can have long-term ramifications. Out of concern for our students, the Mount Vernon City School District and the City of Mount Vernon have joined forces in our shared commitment to ensure school safety. A meeting was held on Monday, March 13th, 2023, which included Board Trustees Adrian Saunders, Helene Inigra, Lorna Kerwin, Mayor Howard Patterson, Police Commissioner Scott, First Deputy Commissioner Gibson, Joanne Dunn, the Executive Director of the Youth Bureau, Dr. Beverly Jones, Dr. Marie Gabaton, the SNUG members, police officers, and community members. This safety team will reconvene on Monday, March 20th. In addition, Ms. Dunn is working with the Mount Vernon City School District on Project Rise to assist us with student safety. CSEA negotiations have been concluded. A mutual agreement was reached regarding percentages and steps. The agreement will be ratified by the union members, and hopefully it will be voted on during our next board meeting. Today was dedicated to Professional Development Day. The District Superintendent Conference days concluded for the year, today, March 15th. Professional staff participated in a host of half-day workshops that focused on professional development aligned with the district's goals. Some workshop was a continuation of the previous superintendent conference days, while others were designed based on upcoming initiative programs and current district needs gathered from various data sources. We appreciate our administrators, teachers, leaders, and support staff for planning successful professional development that is relevant to the needs of our school community. Tonight, we have several presentations. We will begin with our CTE presentation, including food sampling. And I must say, we had the privilege of enjoying meals that was prepared by our scholars under the direction of Chef Cohen. So this presentation will be on. Thank you. So this presentation will be on CTE. Dr. Doggett, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, will lead the charge. Also included in the presentation will be Mr. Campbell, Chef Cohen, Sajay Mullins, a student, and he could tell you where he was accepted. Sade Log will also tell you where she was accepted, and Dr. Pierce. Thank you.
Good evening, Board Trustees, Superintendent, Cabinet, and members of the community. As the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction, there were two goals that I was set out upon, which was instructional efficiency and rebuilding the C&I department. And that rebuilding will take a slow and steady process where we can sustain. However, we have one department in the C&I department that is going against that is growing very fast, and that is the CTE department, which stands for Career and Technical Education. Not only does it provide focus on career and academics, but also the skills needed in the workplace: innovation, team, critical thinking. So I'm going to be really quickly, I'm going to introduce the director, Noel Campbell, but just so you know where we were, where we are, and where we're going. In 2002, there was one career pathway, graduation pathway, and that was culinary arts. We currently have 67 students enrolled in there. This current school year, we have 3 approved pathways: automotive technology, graphic arts design, and nursing assistant training programs. Next year, we're looking to expand to barbering, cosmetology, and cybersecurity programs for 2024. So without further, yes, big clap for that. I'm going to call up the director, Mr. Noel Campbell, who's been on the job for about a year and a half and has been doing a tremendous job. And let's give him a round of applause as he continues the presentation on CTE, and the focus will be on culinary.
Good evening, Trustee Saunders, President, Board of Trustee Dr. Smith, and to the Mount Vernon community. Mount Vernon City School District is committed to delivering a rigorous, robust CTE program with multiple career pathways available for students to pursue after high school graduation. Our CTE department strives to provide learning experiences for our students through career awareness and skills needed for employment and or post-secondary opportunities. Our CTE programs create educational opportunities dedicated to empowering students to enter the workforce, compete in global marketplace, as well as offer the opportunity to earn college credit or advanced standing while still in high school. Students will gain technical and high-level academic skills, equipping them to be lifelong learners. I want to take a moment to highlight our department's philosophy and assure you all that the cornerstone of each and every CTE program encompasses these 4 aspects: career exposure, career exploration, career engagement, and career empowerment. We quite often ask our young scholars what they want to be when they grow up and give them opportunities to read and learn more about their various career interests. This broad exposure can be done through such things as a career day, guest speakers, or at times visits from high schoolers to give younger students haircuts. But regardless of the way we implement this career exposure, we want students to think about their passion and of course the ways they want to make money. As they get older, we want to capitalize on their interests and have our students begin to explore the job opportunities that may be available to them in the future. We have an open door policy for community members who work or own businesses in the career-related industries that we offer to our students and to come and speak to our students. We pride ourselves on ensuring that our guest speakers have similar backgrounds and experiences as our students and are transparent about their journey to where they are now. It is more relatable and it keeps the students engaged on their career paths. And finally, we empower the students to have agency and choice and understand that the skills that they have learned within the high school walls and the experiences they have had over the years are transferable in any arena. Whether the choice be that they attend college or decide to go straight into a career, we make sure that we set them up for success. We assist students with finding job placements and colleges that are aligned to their interests by building those valuable relationships within this community. As you can see on the screen, these are our current programs offered at Mount Vernon High School. Our dedicated instructors of each program is a certified teacher, but they have also worked or have a business in their respective field. So they are able to share their knowledge and their expertise with the students from a theoretical standpoint, as well as offer hands-on experiences and life lessons on a daily basis. We are working closely with these colleges due to their specialization in the various careers that we offer here at Mount Vernon High School. These partnerships have allowed our students to attend many eye-opening trips and workshops that show them the possibilities if they remain committed to their career pathway. Through these partnerships, students can receive college credits while in high school or attend the college at a discounted rate. Although this is not an exhaustive list of the colleges and universities that they may attend or that we work with, these colleges have dedicated their time, their resources, and sometimes their staff to our students throughout this past year. We have business and community partnerships that assist us with providing hands-on training and relevant career readiness skills that lead to high wages. We offer many opportunities to our students to apply the academic concepts from the classroom to real-world situations to prepare them for the industry-based assessments or certifications that they may receive. As Dr. Doggett mentioned, we were able to add to our state-approved CT graduation pathways by adding automotive technology, graphic arts design, and nursing assistant training program. Mount Vernon is the first school district within Westchester to establish a partnership with our auto technology program and Ford Motors Company. And in the next couple of weeks, two of our students, star students of the auto program, will begin their internship at Scarsdale Ford. We can clap for that. Our barbering and cosmetology students have been taking their talents throughout the district to cut the hair and braid the hair of younger students. We've expanded our job placement and internships for students throughout the community. We're excited, especially as we see with the Culinary Arts Department, which we are here to honor this evening, and because of the partnership that we currently have with the district for the various cooking engagements, such as tonight's meal and the treats that we have for everyone here. Got it. Point it. There we go. With your help, we are looking to expand our programs. We are researching the current labor trends to see the most sought after and viable what the most sought after and viable careers are, such as construction, carpentry, early childhood education, and various health careers such as a radiologist or ultrasound technician, to name a few. Mount Vernon has an extensive academic international baccalaureate program that our students are enrolled in, and we'll expand that to add our career-related program, which is part of IB as well. I'm looking forward to creating a standalone CTE career awareness curriculum for our middle school students, tailored to the career pathways offered in high school. We will continue to expand our partnerships with community members through businesses, organizations, and post-secondary institutions. Finally, there are so many Mount Vernon graduates that are doing amazing things right in this community and throughout this country. We love it when they come back home to share their experiences and wisdom with our current students. So the moment that we are here for is to highlight the amazing work being done by one of our fastest growing and most popular programs, and not just because of the food, our Culinary Arts program. Not only is it a CT graduation pathway, these students are working towards their New York Culinary Certification Card, which is recognized by the National Restaurant Association. In order to earn this, they have to pass 4 exams: the Serve Safe Food Handler exam, the two ProStart curriculum exams, and 1 Qualters Culinary Arts practical assessment, which they are very ready for. And with this certification, it qualifies them for entry-level positions in the hospitality industry, and also has allowed for 5 of our students to be accepted to culinary arts programs, post-secondary programs. So without further ado, before I say that, I would like to point out that we do have some partnerships that our students are currently working at throughout Mount Vernon and parts of Westchester, including Flower Power, which is in Pelham, is a bakery. I'm sure we all know about King Southern Delight Restaurant. We have students that work there. In the past couple of weeks, we had 67 students. Right Playland came to Mount Vernon High School and hired 67 of our students on the spot. And with that, they were impressed by our culinary arts department during that session. So much so that we started a partnership with SSA Group, which is a nationally recognized culinary group that works throughout the country at different amusement parks and zoos and things of that nature. They also want to come and hire our students as well. And just recently, with the opening of Ashley Sweet Treats, located on Sanford Boulevard, who is also a former graduate of Mount Vernon High School, she is also looking to partner with us and have some of our students intern at her bakery as well. So without further ado, I would like to have Chef Cohen and two of her students come up to talk about their experiences.
Just gonna lower the. Okay. Good evening, board members, superintendent, and trustees in the Mount Vernon community. My name is Samantha Cohen. I have been the chef of the culinary arts program for the past 4 years. I've been a teacher in Mount Vernon for 7 years. I really want to talk about how culinary is really a multi-sensory, interdisciplinary subject. There's math when we're costing recipes and converting formulas. There's English when students are writing menus and writing resumes. There's science when they're learning about caramelization and what sous vide is. There's history and culture when we introduce new ingredients and foods from a variety of countries in our cooking. And there's art when I let my students be creative with their dishes. So with all this being said, we are really involving every single subject into culinary arts, and then we're also preparing them for the future as any sort of professional, whether they want to go into culinary arts or not. They learn, like I said, resume building, portfolio skills, interviewing skills, all in my class, all the essential job keeping and seeking skills that they would need to be successful, whether they choose to stay in the hospitality industry or not. And I hope this gives you a better understanding of how we at the new Mount Vernon High School are putting out some of the best new chefs into the industry. So I would like to introduce my students to Jay Mullings, and he's going to tell you about his experience in culinary arts.
Hi, good afternoon. As Ms. Cohen said, my name is Jay Mullings, and I recently got accepted into the Culinary Institute of America. So that's what. So as Ms. Cohen said, right, we learn about math, English, time management too, science and different things, but more so, it's not just cooking. We also learn, as he said, real life stuff like cooking is a lot of people's love language, right? It's how they so love, right? People come from different cultures, different backgrounds, right? And for me, being able to cook, right, knowing skills and stuff, I can more easily communicate with them. So me personally, I'm Jamaican, right? And I can cook, say, a Filipino dish, and I meet a Filipino person, right? I could connect. I could say, "Hi, hey, I do this with my dish. They do that with theirs," and we could talk. We could build a friendship. We could build like a good first impression. We could maybe build off and who knows, maybe open a restaurant together, right? You never know. So it's more like just knowing how to talk to people and knowing how to cook, how to put smiles on people's faces, how to make even the less unfortunate people being able to try something if you're that bold and want to go further beyond. So working with Chef Cohen, I love you. Right? She's great. I've only been here for 2 years and I transferred here last year, and it's just been amazing. I'm talking to like great people like you guys right now. This is right? So I'm very grateful that I'm able to have this opportunity to stand in front of you guys, to go to a college like the one I got accepted to, and be able to have internships. Thank you, Miss Lorman, for giving me the ability to work there. And yeah, I'd like to move on to my partner, Sade.
Hi, I'm Sade Logue. I'm a junior at the high. I'm both a culinary and an IB student. Being in the culinary program has exposed me to real workplace experience, and I even get to engage with my community. I've had opportunities to volunteer for events like the Kids in the Kitchen event and the Spanish and Latino Heritage event at my school. I also gained workplace experience when I interned at a bakery named Flower Power, which Ms. Larman also helped me to get. As an IB student, I've developed critical thinking skills and I've learned to manage my workload so I can do well in school and still have time to do the things that I want. In the future, I can use what I've learned from being in this class to get a job in the restaurant industry or even write a cookbook.
So at this time, we'd have Dr. Pierce, principal of the new Mount Vernon High School.
Thank you very much, Mr. Campbell. And Sajay, you said you weren't going to use your cards. I'm going to have to use mine. Good afternoon, board trustees, and good afternoon, superintendent cabinet. Good afternoon, the Mount Vernon community. I am Dr. Pierce, and I am the principal of the new Mount Vernon High School. I would just like everyone to give them another round of applause. In addition to Sajay and Shadi, we also have some other culinary arts students with us. If you could please stand, that would be awesome. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you guys for the support. I also would like to acknowledge two very important people in the room who have been with us since as far as I can remember when we started this program. I can remember when Chef Cohen joined us in 2019. Her kitchen was a science lab. She had to demonstrate on a hot plate. And look at where we are now. We have a top-class kitchen, right? We have a top-class kitchen, and we have to be shutting out students out of the culinary classes, because the kitchen is getting very crowded. We have classes up to 26 students in the class. Favorably, we don't want more than 15, but we're squeezing them in as much as possible. So I would like to acknowledge Miss Nina Capitelli, if you could please stand. And her partner, Miss Jamie Larman. Now, this duo here, they have been working very hard to find us the internships, to find us the connections, and they have been doing an awesome job. They don't leave any stone unturned, so they really need to be acknowledged this afternoon. Now, as you can see, when vocational and work-based learning is paired with rigorous academic learning, the results can be amazing. We see here in front of us, we see Shade and we see Sajay, all these S's, oh no. They are notable examples of how we can support the dreams of our individual students. Because if you listen to both their stories, they're different. Why should students choose between science and art when they can do it together? And they can do that here at the new Mount Vernon High School. We offer a comprehensive educational experience. Shade doesn't have to choose between taking the most rigorous courses that exist in high school, for example, IB, and going after her passion. When I asked her, why did you choose culinary arts? She said to me when she saw the options, culinary arts just looked interesting. And look at where she is now. Every event, Shade is there. So we see that the education that we're providing with the support of the board and the community, we are meeting the needs of our students. So we have the opportunity for every student in this district to pursue their dreams. And I'm very proud of that. Of course, a round of applause to the board for this support. Now, not only are we looking for our students to enter into these entry-level positions, we have big dreams for our students. We see our students as CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs, influencers, you name it. The sky is the limit. We need to dream big for our children. I still chuckle when I remember Chef Cohen on that hot plate. It's still embedded in my memory. And at one side I see that, And on the other side, I see that world-class kitchen filled with students today. So I'm saying all of that to say, to encourage us to continue as a community to set high goals for our children and to work hard together. The key word here is working together to make sure that our goals that we set for our children should need to tiptoe to reach it. And I'm going to encourage us all to do that. I find it appropriate at this time to share with you the quote that we have this week at the new Mount Vernon High School from Harriet Tubman, and it goes, "If you hear the dogs, keep going. If you see the torches in the woods, keep going. If they're shooting after you, keep going. Don't ever stop. Keep going if you want that taste of freedom and success for our children. Keep going." Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that presentation. We plan on having many more like that, but this is wonderful. I think you had something to give out.
So the students of Culinary 3, 2, and 1 all helped make your meal, and then we made little cookies for everybody with the help of the print shop. Thank you so much for everybody in the print shop. And Culinary 1 helped bag them, so all students had a hand in tonight.
Thank you. As they're giving that out, did you have something you wanted to
Yeah,
say?
just really quickly, we also have something from our print shop from the CT department that the students have made for every board member, so Dr. Dorga will hand those out as well.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. You guys made us proud. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have another presentation that's supposed to start at 7, so we need to go right into that, okay? Thank you so much. This is wonderful. And the students made our dinner tonight, and it was absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. So are we putting the Zoom up? Okay. Okay. Mr. Church, can you sit at the podium? Okay. Okay. So we have a Zoom presentation. Technology is going to get that up for us. This is beautiful. Didn't know how to do it.
My name is Marvin Church. I'm a resident of Mount Vernon, and my wife, Dr. Diana Williams, and I formed an organization called Environmental Leaders of Color. And we've been in existence for 3 years, and we have a national board. And one of our board members, who's an executive at Microsoft, we just did a book signing a couple of weeks ago at the Mount Vernon Library, and his book is going out, it's the national, he's going all over the country with his book. And so he said to me, why don't you bring a Microsoft program to Mount Vernon School District? Mount Vernon School District. I'm not used to speaking. I'm used to doing behind-the-scenes work. So the gentleman that who's on our board, his name is Bruce Jackson. He's got a book that's out, and it's a national. He goes all over the country with his book. And right now, the foreword of the book is published by the vice chair of Microsoft and the president of Microsoft. And so he asked me to have one of his colleagues to come on tonight to discuss this program with the Mount Vernon School Board. And thank you, President Saunders and Superintendent Smith and board members for allowing us to even have this opportunity. So hopefully he's on, and he could possibly give a present. Is he on yet? Oh, you're waiting. Okay. So that's what we do. We have a national board, as I said, and we have board members from Abbott. I have board members from Meta. I have board members from Interim and Extern Bank. Next week, we are having a board member who is a program manager for the DOE, Department of Energy out of Washington. So I try to get people from all over the country to be on our board, and I want to provide opportunities for the city of Mount Vernon and its residents. As I said, we've been for 3 years. Last year, we graduated 100 students from Portchester, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, and Yonkers. And now we're expanding also into Peekskill, Ossining, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut, and New York City. But Mount Vernon is my home base. This is where I lived for the last 23 years. And my wife and I want to provide these services to the city of Mount Vernon because that's where we live. And so we are encouraging to bring more programming to our citizenry here in the city, especially our students, because we target our students between the ages of 13 and 18 years old. And so this year, we're probably going to expand our program to about 250 children throughout the metropolitan area. So there's my colleague from Microsoft, and thank you for coming on.
We can see him. He can't hear you.
Can you hear us? Yeah, I can hear you. You can start. We're listening. Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's see if I can just share my screen. Let's see. First, okay. It looks like I can't share my screen, so I'll just go ahead with the presentation as is. Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Vernon and I'm the and as I progressed at home, things like this was definitely the lack of diversity within this space. And I go on to do some adjunct work as it is for teaching information technology. And so what is the TEALS program? The TEALS program started in 2009. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and share. And so this teaching program started in 2009. It's been here in New York State since 2013. And what we do is we help classroom teachers learn to teach computer science. And we do this by partnering with industry volunteers or undergraduate, juniors, and seniors, or graduate level computer science majors. And what that has been proven to do is, number one, it helps the teachers really get comfortable with the computer science concept. So it's great if you have a teacher who is perfectly sure trained computer science teachers. So we have math teachers, social studies teachers, and interested in teaching computer science. We can come in and help them get their content down so they can teach the class. And what the volunteers do is the students get the opportunity to really interact with someone who is passionate about computer science, who can work with the teacher to help live in the lecture, help the teacher with the lesson plan, and also serve as role model. A lot of the feedback that we get from teachers are around things like it's great that many times at the high school level you have a major gap between a student that's really knowledgeable about computer science and is going to boot camps or works on it outside of the class or after school program, and that student that has never touched the keyboard. And one of the things that's great about having a volunteer in classrooms is they can help the teacher bridge this divide. They can either work with the student that's lagging behind to help bring them up to speed, or a student who's ahead, they can help the teacher enhance and stretch the lessons and exercises so that they don't lose interest and get bored. A lot of the feedback that we get from the teachers is they just love the fact that they have someone who they can really discuss the content that they're bringing to the students, and someone who is not only who's using that content outside of the classroom in another environment. That's just a great way to just turn students on to computer science. Like I said, one of the things that I'm very passionate about and one of the major goals of TEALS is to increase the representation of students traditionally excluded from CS. Just some information taken from Code.org's 2022 State of CS report. Students that are Black, African American, or Latino who tried AP Computer Science in high school are 7 times more likely to major in computer science. And students that are women who tried AP Computer Science are 10 times more likely to major in computer science. As someone who's taught computer science at the collegiate level, it's very hard to be successful in computer science at the collegiate level if you're being introduced to material for the first time. That's true for most subjects, but it's definitely the case in computer science, and is one of the leading factors in why we're not turning out enough individuals who in the computer science space. Just by the numbers, TEALS, we're in 44 schools here in New York, working with 800 students, and we have 145 volunteers. Our goal is really to help a school build out a full, comprehensive computer science pathway, going from introduction to computer science all the way up to AP computer science. We've recently added cybersecurity and artificial intelligence to several courses that we support, because schools have shown a lot of interest. These are two fields that we definitely know from the news are two of the hottest fields. In the case of cybersecurity, with a 2-year cybersecurity degree, you could be industry ready, making a really nice income and supporting yourself quite well. So being introduced to cybersecurity at the high school level can definitely set a student up for career success. And with that, if you have any questions in terms of the TEALS curriculum, I have my email here, wall at teals12k12.org, and I can pass on the application to the Mount Vernon High School. We would love to have you as part of the TEALS program, and we would love to help you get your computer science curriculum up and going.
Does anyone have any questions, Mr.
I'm not sure, I'm not hearing anyone. I'm not sure if you're speaking to me.
Mr. Church, can you answer any questions if the board members have questions?
I'll see if I can answer some of them, but
Okay.
I'm not a technical person, but do the best I can.
Okay, you can stand at the podium.
Got that.
We can cut.
Well, one thing Raul didn't say, this program is free. Okay?
Yes, this program is part of Microsoft and to do so is
That's key. No tax dollars. Yes, we wanted to get the application in as soon as possible because they've done us a great favor providing this opportunity for the Mount Vernon because since I had that gentleman on my board, he opened that door for us. So we want to take advantage of it as soon as possible.
Okay, our next presentation is on the budget by Ken Silva and Dr. Doggett.
Good evening. Here we are, my 9th budget in Mount Vernon, and many people on the board have been on the budget committee and participated in this for all these years. So I'm giving you a little presentation of what the budget looks like. The board has the actual budget of some 40 pages, 1,500 lines, and we have to thank the budget committee. I'm just going to skip to that page, which is page 3, to thank the Budget Committee, and then I'll go back. The Budget Committee with Trustee Kerwin as the chair of the committee, and Sabina, Trustee Kelly, Trustee Gale, and Board President Saunders have participated in this for all these months, perhaps 4 or 5 months, and numerous meetings. We also have Len Sarver from the community has helped us, Tom Keller from the community who is here tonight, and me. Oh, and Derek Clay. Oop. Okay, sorry, Derek Clay got left off of this, but he has participated and helped us a great deal.
Anything help us follow along the way? Any sheets or anything?
No, you'll just follow along what I'm going to be doing here. So this budget presents no increase in taxes for the 7th time in 9 years. We have been designated as the school district in the most fiscal stress in the state because we are missing $11.7 million in taxes that goes back to before 2020. We are going to show you just a little video which talks about the budget.
Did you see that bus go by? Oh, there goes another one. Well, these buses, like schools, are funded by a school district's budget. School budget. Well, these buses, like schools, are funded by a school district's budget. School budget is just a quick way to say what it costs to educate students. On average, 70% of New York school budgets are used to cover the salaries and benefits of the people who make education possible, like teachers, school aides, counselors, nurses, cleaners, mechanics, secretaries, administrators, coaches, and bus drivers. The budget also pays for the desk a student sits at, the book she reads, the classroom she learns in, the field she plays on, the device she uses for research, the test tube she studies, the music she reads, and the fuel that gets her bus home at the end of the day. So what else is in there? Well, there's also funding to meet special state and federal rules known as mandates. There are mandates about transporting students, maintaining school facilities, training staff, establishing safety practices, providing accessible classrooms, meeting learning standards, and much more. Schools must also prepare students to compete for tomorrow's jobs with more innovative technology, real-world projects, and individualized attention. Now that's a lot on the expenses side. And by law, school budgets must be balanced. Expenses anticipated for the year ahead, the money going out, must be matched by anticipated revenue, the money coming in. Most money for New York schools comes from two key sources, state funds and local property taxes. Federal aid, often in the form of grants, accounts for less than 5% of school funding. State aid is negotiated annually by the governor and the legislature, and state funds have provided about 40 to 45% of school revenue over the last 10 years. That leaves half of the pie to be filled by local property taxes. This tax levy slice is how communities fund their local schools. It's an investment that pays off with an educated workforce, more vibrant local communities, and a stronger economy. It's also a careful investment that considers the skills students need to succeed in future jobs, the cost of school programs and services, the state aid coming to public schools, and how much support local taxpayers can afford. School board members and school leaders consider all of this as they work throughout the year to manage school district finances and plan for the future. Ultimately, voters have the final say on school budgets when they head to the polls in May. To learn more before you cast your vote, check your local school district website or stop by a school board meeting. After all, the school budget directly affects your community, and gathering your input is an important part of the process. Half of the pie to be filled by your bus home at the end of the day.
How do I make this go to the next bit? So we have used restricted reserves to fund various portions of the budget. You're going to see a chart on that before. Restricted reserves are those funds which the board has set aside to be used for certain purposes. We're going to come to that in a minute. We've carefully tracked our spending and revenues, and the Budget Committee has surely gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. And we have also had rounds with the superintendent to look at the spending having to do with the building levels. So that could be materials and supplies, textbooks, furniture, and the superintendent will be deeply involved in the permission to purchase certain things in the coming year as we have a difficult year coming up. In 2020, we started collecting our own taxes because we were not getting all the tax monies from the city that we should have been getting. So in 2021, that was our first year collecting taxes. Last year was our second, and we're now in our third year. Typically, we collect all but about $6 million out of $135 million. That money, that rest of that money comes in trickles in, but also the city of Mount Vernon is responsible to give us that money as well. So they owe us $11.7 million from 3 years ago. From 2 years ago, they owe us another 5.9. From last year, they owe us another 6, and then we'll see what happens this June. Some of those monies are not due yet, and not due for a few years, but the $11.7 million is why we are in fiscal stress and why we are having trouble making our budget balance with the revenues and expenses. If we had this $11.7 million, we would not be rated as in fiscal stress at all. We would have all the money we need. We would have the maximum fund balance or savings that we're allowed to have. But here we are struggling instead. But through any struggle we have, we will still succeed. We will close nothing. We will not be doing any cuts, and we will manage through the finances through this difficult time. The state, the superintendent has been deeply involved with the state legislators, the commissioner, the governor's office, in many meetings, both Zoom and in person, as we went to Albany a few weeks ago, to get them to understand how important it is to help us when we are in such need. And we are hopeful that something will come through from the state to help us get through this year and to help us for next year. But because we collect our own taxes, we will always be okay. We will always be able to pay our bills, and we will never have fiscal stress on a cash basis. I guess I have to do this. So these are what we use for reserves in the current budget. The middle column is what we're using. $12,000 to offset some workers' comp expenses, $160,000 to the retirement system to offset those expenses, $90,000 to offset some employee expenses, $1 million to help us with our debt service. That has to do with the bonds going back as far as 2009, and another $80,000 also for debt service. Major increases in the budget are for charter schools is the single biggest issue, where we have some 150 children enrolled in a charter school in the current year that were not expected. And when the current budget was done a year ago, we did not expect all of that to happen. So our charter schools are almost $2 million over budget in the current year, and we have to add another $1.9 million next year to cover these expenses. We have 650 children in the charter schools, and our expenses for charter schools exceed $12 million. We also have a big increase in health insurance. We've been advised that we have an 8% increase in health insurance, which will exceed $1 million. On the other side, on decreases, in the current budget, we have $2.1 million for capital projects. We have not used that. The board is being asked to transfer the second portion of that so we can cover security expenses, charter school expenses, other expenses for the balance of this year. So we are not doing any of these capital projects, and next year there are no capital projects in the budget. All we have is money for repairs, and we have increased the budget for facilities so that we have more money for repairs. But this will only be repairs. There will be no major projects next year. Also worth mentioning is that our central administration costs are down below 9% for the first time in many, many years in this coming budget. So what that means is more money is being used for instruction if less money is being used for administration. This is what our revenue looks like for next year. The property taxes, $135 million, have been the same for 3 years. The state aid is up by about $2.5 million in what's called foundation aid, and that restricted funds I spoke about, and that comes to $261 million. But that's not our budget. Our budget is $269 million, and so we are short many millions of dollars. However, we have to figure this out before the budget vote, and the superintendent is working very hard to get the state to understand what our needs are and to meet our needs. This is what's called a three-part budget. It shows administration, capital, and our program, the instructional program, meaning program, and there's more money being spent in program than last year, and this is where we want the money to go for the kids. Some of the budget highlights. This is more on the instruction side than on the budget side. So if there are questions, I'll ask Dr. Doggett to help. But we're still dealing with the COVID slide from a couple of years ago. We're rewriting and mapping curriculum. We have increased our CTE certification. And I should mention that the culinary program is a direct result of $1 million that we got from Senator Biaggi. And that's how we redid that whole kitchen at no expense to the taxpayers. We're continuing our dual language programs. I'm not going to read all this, but we have one thing we put in, no place for hate, is a part of this, and the RTI implementation for all K-8 schools. This continues some of the instructional highlights. We have a growing community liaison program to try to increase PTA participation, get the parents into the schools for back-to-school nights, and many, many programs that take place on the school level with the liaisons working with the teachers and working with the parents to come to the schools. We know that in Mount Vernon, we have to do more than our neighbors have to do. And so our expenses are higher than our neighbors are. Our cost per child may be higher than our neighbors are. Our neighbors don't even have pre-K. I spoke to my friends in Pelham. They don't even think about it. Why do we need that? But we know that our kids came to kindergarten 2 years behind before we started having our pre-K program. And it's an integral part of the growth of the community. It also has the potential to reduce the special ed needs as time goes by. When kids come to us at 3 or 4 years old, we have a chance to take care of some of the social and emotional problems they have before they get into the kindergarten program, and where we have to spend so much money, maybe $40 million this year on special ed programs. So the pre-K is such an important part. And in fact, the state has increased the funding for that for us for next year by about $1.5 million, which helps to reduce some of the budget costs for our pre-K program. This is some of the things we have to do: charter schools, health insurance, other employee benefits. We have community schools, and we're trying to improve and increase community school participation, and that takes many, many forms, including the liaisons, as well as other programs. This is what it looks like for our taxes for all these years. Taxes have only gone up twice since I got here in 2014, by 1.35% total. But the budget has gone from 227 to 269 million in that period of time. So that takes a lot of thinking and a lot of being careful, and a lot of being careful of our spending, finding cooperative programs, and board participation in this through the Budget Committee and other committees has made a difference for us. So what happens if the budget is defeated? The board can adopt a contingent budget. The board can have another vote. And the board makes that decision about how that's going to happen. We are hoping that we will have a unanimous board to support this budget, which has no tax increase. And 4 board members have worked very hard to present what we have here today. The contingent budget takes away furniture, equipment, on capital projects we're not having anyway, but it takes away some of the important things that we need for our kids. It doesn't take away textbooks or workbooks. And we are confident that what we're presenting to the community will be appreciated and accepted. So I'm not sure, President Saunders, if you want me to take questions at this point, but these are our next budget presentation will be April 26th. That's at 6 o'clock. That's before board meeting. We have a budget presentation. There can be other presentations at regular board meetings if you wish. But these are dates just for budget presentations.
A couple slides ago, you mentioned that there was a gap between the revenue, 261 million, and our budget is 269. How do you anticipate meeting that gap?
So what I've said a couple times and I'll say again. So we are meeting with the state, the legislators. We have met with the governor's office, with the commissioner's office, and the state aid people, as well as the state education department. And they have some ideas for how to close this gap. This gap will not be closed with taxes. And it's possible the city may, in some way, come through with some tax money for us, and there's a meeting scheduled shortly with the city and the controller to try to work that out. But we are confident, and the state has given us some confidence that we will be able to manage this for next year.
You said there was a meeting scheduled with the city and the controller and not the school district?
No, No, I meant with us. With the city means us and the city. So that date has not been set, but it's either next week or the week after to try to work out some sort of a plan.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay, so we're going to do trustee Gale. Committee reports.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As part of the community on family engagement team, I'd like to introduce a Griffin Football Club. It's a Mount Vernon-based group that is looking to do some things for our children in terms of playing sports, particularly soccer. And I think Mr. Thomas is going to be making a small presentation about what they intend to do for the community.
Good evening.
Board of Trustees, directors, and everyone. My name is Christopher Thomas, assistant professor / counselor at Westchester Community College. I just want to say to the culinary people, that's great. Westchester has a great culinary program, and we would gladly invite them to come over and see. But for today, I'm here on behalf of Mr. Ezra Austin, who is the founder of Griffin Sports and Griffin Community. What Griffin does is Griffin would like to come to Mount Vernon. We're already in Mount Vernon, but we're not known. We're not known. What we do is he's been coaching kids, providing scholarships, helping students get to the next level. Like for instance, I'm always in Mount Vernon. I've been in Mount Vernon 35 years, lived in Mount Vernon. But I ended up when I was here, I didn't go to Mount Vernon High School. I went to high school in Jamaica. I moved here and I started to go to college in the city. But I couldn't afford it. He got me a scholarship to Mercy College, and from Mercy College I graduated Lehman with my master's degree, and the rest is history. But what he's trying to do is, because sports play an important role in development of young people. Apart from promoting physical fitness, it helps them develop important life skills. It helps not only sports and recreation. And I think for me, when I first came here, recreation played a big part in Mount Vernon. Now I drive around in Mount Vernon, and I do see a little, but I don't see as much as when I first came here. Like when I first started living here, I could go to the Y for $10 for the whole year, and I could work out, I could play basketball, I could swim, I could lift weights. There was nights where we could use the gym, we could use the facilities, and it was always a major part. It was a part of me growing up. So I've grown up and I have kids, but there's no recreation for my kids. So basically, most of the times I spend, like my 4 kids, my daughter went dancing in the Bronx. I took all that revenue to the Bronx. My son plays for Academy for the U.S. national team. He's in Arizona. I took all that not necessarily because I wanted to, but because it's not here in Mount Vernon. So what Griffin want to do is, we would like to come in. We'd like to play a part as far as we'd like to help young kids. We want to make sure that, like, there's a part here. We want to improve the lives of young people in Mount Vernon. We want to create a soccer partnership between the school board and nonprofit organizations, managed by former students who will be beneficial to the government, the community. The partnership will provide opportunities for young people to participate in soccer programs that emphasize leadership, teamwork, and discipline. The partnership would also provide job opportunities for former students and athletes, which is what we do like with our summer program, because with our summer program, we hire kids that were in the program or are from the city that are willing or wanting to learn or to be a part of the program. Like I said, the partnership will promote a summer sports program, which can also have a positive impact on young people's lives in Mount Vernon. And with all the stuff that's going on right now, we need to have positive influence on these kids' lives. Because I'm tired of picking up the paper every day and there's a shooting, a stabbing, or anything, and I don't want to reiterate it because it makes me feel uncomfortable, because I have 4 kids, 3 that are basically, one is in college in Boston now, but the other 2 are living here. One is in Arizona. But the other 2 that are living here, and every day they want to go out or they want to do things, and I'm afraid. So for me, what I try to do is I try to put him in as much sports-centered things. He goes to Bronxville to play soccer. He's in a program in Bronxville. He's in Eastchester. My daughter, she plays the violin. She's at Concordia at the conservatory. I try to keep them away from the streets. But kids need not necessarily need the streets, but they need to be able to interact, to have social skills to develop, so that they can, so that they can become adults too. You can't keep them sheltered in the house, and I can't keep them in programs every day. So what Griffin wants to do is we want to provide a program just to start with the city where we can help kids, we can have kids. It will be basically soccer, but there's other avenues because we're with other people, like we have people with gymnastics and we have dance, and so we try to get these things together so that kids can be a part of it, because we want to engage them while they're young, from they're little, so that they can develop and they can have sports. Because God knows I grew up in Jamaica and I grew up around war and crime every day, but I had soccer every day to go to, so that was something for me as a person to look forward to, and that's what I try to instill in my kids, that they have something to look forward to. If it's dancing, whatever they like, I try to engage them. So I just want to thank you for your time, and we can be contacted through, or we have our website, Griffin Sports, and we can be contacted. And we would really appreciate the opportunity to engage you guys on a broader aspect as far as having kids and bringing our program to Mount Vernon, really on a bigger scale, because it's in Mount Vernon, but it's so small that you don't know. It's bigger in Eastchester, it's bigger in Bronxville, because that's where and I don't want it to be about money, because that's where most of the families are willing to pay. But it's not that they're willing to pay; they're willing to pay for quality. No, and that's what Mount Vernon needs.
What's the age group?
The age group, we start from 8 on up.
8?
8 up to 17.
And what's the, so what would be the cost to, you said it's a scholarship, so it'd be no cost to the community?
Basically, we're looking for, as far as the scholarships are concerned, we usually provide scholarships to help the kids to get scholarships to go to colleges or different programs. Like my son got a scholarship to go to Arizona State University. He's only 14. It's $175,000 for the year. And that was through Griffin because of the different connections with the network that we've had.
So how many students can you,
How many kids? Usually within the age group, we try to keep it like 20 students within each age group, from 8 to 10, 20, 10 to 12, because that's how they age upwards. Like when you're U15, you're 12, we try to make you play U12 one year, then you move up to U14. So we try to keep you within a 2-year range where you can be more versatile to each age sector, age group.
I have a question. So what days would you be available for the kids?
We have not selected days yet, but if it's within the summer, if it's the summer, it'd be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Some days, some mornings, some evenings, alternate.
Okay.
All right.
soccer's not an all-year-round sport, it's mostly in the summer?
It's not in America, but it is an all-year-round sport, and that's part of the problem why it's not an all-year-round sport, because it's hard for us to get facilities during the winter time. And that's one of our biggest, that's why we're here. And that's one of our biggest pet peeve, because it's easier to get a field in the summer, you know, you can find a field, but in the winter time, you need a gym or indoor facilities. I remember when the Dome first opened up in Mount Vernon, we were paying $100 a night. Now it's $250 an hour.
Oh.
So that the biggest part of it was, and when I first started playing, we had all these schools. We would have gym. We could go to the YMCA on a Tuesday. We could go to Columbus on a Monday. We could go to Mount Vernon High School, but now there's nothing.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Lindsay, committee report?
Well, I have the facilities and the security reports are kind of melded together, but I would really prefer to, if I could skip it for tonight, I'd rather get the person who's here to make a presentation.
Yeah, that's
just so
why-
she's not here all night.
That's why I called you.
Oh, okay. Is Amelia in the back somewhere? Hello. Come on up. This is Miss Amelia Zano. She is from the Bronx River Alliance. I had met her probably about 2 months ago, and she will explain the rest.
Thank Thank you so much for the introduction, Mark. I really appreciate it. Good evening, everyone of the board and the trustees. I've lived in Mount Vernon for about 2 years. I'm originally from the Bronx, so I just want to express my gratitude for having you all let me present today. That means a lot. In New York City, I would be crying on the steps of City Hall. So it's really an honor to be here to present to you all. So I am the education coordinator at the Bronx River Alliance. We are a nonprofit organization based in the South Bronx, but we realized that the Bronx River extends 23 miles from Valhalla all the way down into the Bronx, and Mount Vernon has quite a lot of space along the Bronx River, and we want to get students of Mount Vernon engaged with their waterways. We hear a lot about the sewage, we hear a lot about the infrastructure, but we want students to understand the river as a resource for learning, and a resource for enjoying nature. And we want to present to you these water quality monitoring field trips that will get the students out on the water to test the water and see how healthy it is. And additionally, the students will learn real scientific techniques that they can take with them going forward. So the Bronx River Alliance serves as a coordinated voice for the Bronx River. We want to protect, restore, and improve the entire Bronx River corridor. As I mentioned, that includes Mount Vernon. Our goal is to make a healthy ecological, recreational, educational, and economic resources for all the communities. Right now, we work very closely with the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation, but we really want to expand our offerings to the environmental justice communities of Westchester, one of which is Mount Vernon. So I work with the education program. So our mission as the education program is to utilize the Bronx River as a living laboratory, getting students out on the water, getting them experiencing nature out in the sun. So we work with schools, community members, and community-based organizations to provide engaging, hands-on opportunities for youth. So I speak to a lot of school students, and they say, science is boring, I don't want to go to science, we never do anything. This is a way to get students out doing hands-on lab work. So those are some of our students from the Bronx working in Starlight Park. So our water quality monitoring program is called Project Water Drop. That's an acronym for detecting river outfalls and pollutants. So this is an example of community science, where people go out and collect data. Right now, we collect water quality at 15 sites along the Bronx River, and we've been doing this for about 10 years. And the goal is to collect data on the Bronx River's health and share it with public agencies. So, for example, in New York City, we would share it with the city council members, but here we would share it with our county legislators, with the city government. So basically, the students would be involved in that hands-on data collection. So what kind of students would do best on a water quality monitoring field trip? It's ideal for grades 9 to 12. Some of the steps that we take are a little bit intense. So high school students are best suited for this program, usually outdoors. In case anyone's worried, students do not have to enter the water, but we can get as close to the shore as possible to collect our water samples. And the steps that we take align with protocol that have been approved by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. So these are the steps that nonprofits and government agencies do all over the country. Students work in groups doing the hands-on tasks, and then students are responsible for recording the data they collect. So the data sheet. What do we actually do on a water quality monitoring field trip? Well, first of all, we get site conditions, so we measure air temperature and water temperature. We test the pH level of the water. We measure dissolved oxygen content in the water. So that tells us if the water is a healthy habitat for fish. It also tells us, maybe there is something wrong with the river, for example, maybe a discharge. We test for salinity, which is the saltiness of the water. We test for nitrate levels of the water. Nitrate levels can indicate if there's sewage pollution or if there's excessive runoff from people's yards. And we also test for turbidity, which is the cloudiness of the water. So an example field trip, students are out in groups, and each group member takes the lead on one of the tasks, and the students complete the task together. So here's some photographs of students in the Bronx on water quality monitoring field trips. Again, we don't get in the water. We get as close to the water as we can. We provide all the equipment. So we provide gloves, we provide goggles, we provide the kits. I also want to highlight, we would be providing this to the schools free of charge. Normally, the Bronx schools, we do charge a fee, but we are really trying to engage students from Mount Vernon high schools. So we would, basically, we're just looking for teachers and educators to partner with for these field trips. So maybe an AP environmental science class or a biology class or earth science class. This would be great preparation for the Regents exam, or if you need a break from prepping for the Regents exam, help them regain their enjoyment of science. And then after we engage in the field trips, we would continue the relationship with the class to teach the kids how to use this data. So teach them about the structure of Westchester County government, how to write to your legislator, how to write to your city council, to advocate for protecting the river, how to advocate for more green infrastructure. The only thing we cannot provide, unfortunately, is transportation to the sites. So there are two locations in Mount Vernon where you can access the Bronx River. The first is Scout Fields, which is located on the border of Bronxville and Mount Vernon. The Bronx River Alliance is very passionate about environmental justice and equitable access to green spaces. So we think that Scout Field would be a great place to take students from Mount Vernon so they can understand that that's their green space too. It's not just Bronxville. These students have a right to that green space as well. And other location where you can access the Bronx River is at Oak Street. There is a portion of the Bronx River Greenway at the intersection of Oak Street and the Bronx River Parkway where you can get up close to the water, observe nature, and perform the water quality monitoring tests. So I've put my email address up on the board in the PowerPoint. If anyone would like to connect or learn more, I'd be happy to chat over Zoom. I do live in Mount Vernon, so I could come in person. But yes, thank you all for taking the time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
So when do you do this all year?
We do it all year round, as long as the students are willing to come out in the winter. We're willing to come out in the winter.
I have a question.
Yes.
Dr. Doggett, living environment. A lot of students, I know Ms. Carpus and Mr. Wynn, God rest his soul, used to go out to Hutchinson and do some type of programs like this. Could the school district, Dr. Smith, partner with some of this organization for? Okay.
Yes, we just have to see where it fits in the curriculum.
Well, as I said, I know that Robin Carpus at the high school was doing this type of thing. So she was doing it at the Wilson Woods as opposed to the Bronx River. I don't know as far as the distance, because I know you had to provide a bus, but I was wondering if this would be a good way to partner up.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's the teacher's name again? I'm sorry.
So my email address is right up there. If you have any connections, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you. So committee reports for Trustee Kelly?
I know that I don't know, should I report on facilities or just okay. For facilities, I know that the district has been repairing the medical unit at Mount Vernon High School with Environ Science. I think they've been working very well with building and grounds. I hope that that will be a continuation. I know that Environ Science is going to be up for resolution tonight to be renewed, or I'm not sure. I would like further discussion on that one
Yeah,
with the Dr. Smith, our acting superintendent, to understand exactly what the relationship is going to be going forward with Enviro Science. They've repaired, I think there was a radiator that fell down in one of the schools, and they used our people, employees of Mount Vernon, to rectify that situation. And Columbus Leadership Academy. And so they were able to save us. There was some cost savings involved in that, because if we have a consultant in the district, they have to save us money, or they're not worth their weight in pay. Especially if they're able to help or facilitate with our employees. So that I thought was very positive. That could have been a disaster. They averted that. They saved money on that. They also did the Lincoln, Lincoln cafeteria. So we had pictures. I'm sorry I didn't know, or we would have been able to give you a slideshow of all the work that's been going on. But those are some of the few things that I remember at this point. The turf room is in question now at the high school. I think they're trying to resolve what's going to happen with that, because there've been some asbestos, so it's more complicated as a cleanup. You can't hear me? Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. So what I was saying was that this is an abatement, asbestos abatement at the high school, at the turf room. That's going to be more involved. I'm not sure what the resolution of that is. I think the engineer just completed his report. I think you have to work on what goes next. And Williams elevator continues to be a issue. So for the facilities, that's it, and I'll pass it on to the
So since we're on the facilities, what is the status of the Williams elevator?
It's the lift, not the elevator.
lift. Sorry, lift.
Right, it's the second unit in the building, yes, and it's been out for a long time. And because of the changes in the law, having to do with the size of the opening, the size of the shaft, everything ended up having to be changed. The doors didn't open wide enough to meet the ADA requirements. The shaft had to be increased in size. There's no cab in there. There's nothing in the shaft right now. The cab has been ordered. This will become an aidable project, and the state is waiting for this. We're hopeful that it'll be done soon. Of course, we've said that for a long time.
Yes.
But there are regulations that people did not realize that we had to meet. It was more complicated than was thought in terms of the ADA requirements. And it is safely locked. The doors cannot be open. And work is about to start on that.
So what's the status? Your work is going to start? When do we anticipate it being completed? Do you know when the pieces are coming in?
Well, it has to get a whole new cab or lift or whatever, the main inside mechanism, but that doesn't fit in the shaft that's there. The shaft actually has the opening actually has the ability to be made bigger.
Were they ordered?
Everything's been ordered, yes.
So
But the work has to be done to make what's been ordered fit into it. So there's two parts to it, getting the equipment, but making the shaft and the whole inside of it ready to be put in.
So they were ordered. When are they expected to?
I don't know the answer. I'll have to get that for you.
Was there any RFP done for the work to be done inside?
There's been no work been done yet. We're still waiting for the architect's plans to be approved by the state. There should not need to be an RFP. There are bidded and procured contractors who can do this work. And I'm happy to provide that for you.
Is that going to be included in the budget for this year already?
Yes.
Mr. Silver? So
Yes, that's a part of the current expenses.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Adams, do you have a committee report?
No traditional committee reports like usual, but I just wanted to say the district fixed a gripe of mine with all the meetings being on like Facebook and then YouTube like 2 weeks later. Now there is a library, an online video library of every board meeting on the Mount Vernon City School District website. So if you go to the website now, there's a board meeting page and you can see every meeting, special meetings on time. It will be updated regularly.
Thank you, Trustee Adams. Trustee White?
Yes, we had a education committee meeting. Jump in if I forget something. But we first, we compared the data to the beginning of the year and the middle of the year, and I'm glad to say that the middle of the year is showing progress. We have went up a couple of links, but we're making it. We are going to make it this year. We also talked about the new APPR for teachers. That's their teachers' evaluation. And it's new. They'll be held accountable for their students. And it is aligned with the district goals for this year. So I'd just like to thank Jamal Doggett and his team for their hard work for the students in Mount Vernon. Anything I missed? Gloria? Oh, okay. But they're working hard, the education.
Yeah, it was encouraging to hear that.
Yes.
Phonetics being included, processes being put in place for improvement, support for the teachers. Question, reading specialists. What's our situation with our reading specialists in the district? Like, how many do we have, and do we need more? Do we have enough? Are they in place for?
I would have to do a further needs assessment to answer that question, but I definitely know we need math specialists, which we talked about, which is not in this budget because of the expenses that we cannot afford it. But yes, we probably can use one or two more, but I will speak to...
Dr. Doggett,
Yes.
what we can afford is improvement in the classroom. What we can't afford is the extra stuff at the top level.
Correct. But yes, we didn't hire any more reading specialists this year in the budget. But yes, if the money's available, we can use it.
You have to tell us what you need. We don't, as a board, I'm speaking now for myself. You have to say, what we expect our tax dollars to do is to educate students. If that's what you need, that's what we want to hear.
That's what we'll get you.
Okay.
So, we'll get it. Hook, crook, or steel.
So, Dr. Doggett, at the next board meeting, will you give us data on the reading scores so we'll know if we need to hire some more reading specialists?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Doggett.
Trustee Adsobi, anything?
You're welcome.
The only thing I had to report was on the policy committee. We were able to review all the policies. I think they've been renumbered now. And when you go on to look for a particular policy, it's going to be easier for you to find because the way it is numbered and then with the index. So that regardless of what policy you're looking for, you're going to easily be able to find it because of the work that was put in to reorganize and renumber them, right?
That's good.
Right. And we were supposed to get some updated policies today, weren't we?
So not all our policies are done, so the goal is at our next board meeting, we're going to be reading 11 policies.
I shouldn't have asked. Trustee Kerwin, anything?
Well, from the Budget Committee, Mr. Silver covered, with the presentation. But I just wanted to say that thanks for the committee, the Budget Committee, and the administration, Mr. Silver, and the superintendent, because we really worked very hard so that we don't cut any budget that would impact the kids' learning or the staff members of the district. So even though the school district is in financial stress or health, have a financial health problem, we were able to work with what we have so that the kids are not impacted by the budget or the staff of the district. So
Right.
I'm very happy for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have a committee report, I guess, because I've been on all the committees. So I don't have anything, but I'm grateful that we were able to move a lot of that stuff out of the high school room. I went there yesterday, and it was pretty much empty. So there's a meeting with.
Did you report on the auction? That's what I forgot.
Well, it was $22,000 so far that we received, last I heard. It's gone up?
No, that's it.
That's it, $22,000 that we received for that auction of all the stuff. And then I heard it was, well, I did see some construction horses, I don't know if that's what you call it, but chairs or something like that, that we don't need. We talked about that house that's that's back in the high school. If we need to auction that, someone said we can auction it, or if we want the kids to refurbish it, maybe we can move it to the high school field as a concession stand. It's a house in the back of the high school that maybe we can use a concession stand as a concession stand.
So that's called the White House, and I think if that's what you're talking about, the kids built that
I know.
at one time. So that is used for the most part for storage of architectural drawings and plans from going back to the beginning of 1900. We have a room that was the architect's room in the high school that Dr. Pierce wants to use for another purpose, and that room would have to be emptied out. It's filled with architectural stuff. And so the White House is where we were thinking of putting everything. So we would have to find another place to empty Dr. Pierce's room so that she could use that for, I believe it's a career program she wants to put in there.
I think it's for life skills students. It would be a model apartment.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there were some washing machines and dryers that were donated to the school district, and that would allow them, students, to actually use what was donated and also create a space that could be utilized for students in the life skills program.
So I've asked, and I also asked Nabil, the director of facilities, to find out, get some costs on some lighting, solar lighting or something for the high school field in case we need to go back there to have some sports activities.
So the field has all of the lighting
I thought so.
capability that it would ever need. It has all the light poles, but there's no wiring. So nothing was ever done to electrify the wiring. And maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we did do something at the field one night. Maybe it was a fireworks or something, and we brought in generators to light up those lights. All the bulbs work, all the lights work, but there's no wiring. And there was some issue with where does the wire go? Does it go through the Chester Heights area, which is another municipality, or how do we cross the bridge with the wires to electrify it? So
But those lights are gone. Those generator lights aren't there anymore, are they?
the light poles all the light poles are necessary for night football or night whatever we wanted at that field, but it's not electrified.
We don't have those solar or generator lights.
No, we have no solar, but
So
they're
what-
just regular light poles like you'd see in any
But
stadium.
they have to be electric, they have to be, no, what I asked them to do was to find some way to get some solar lights, just because the community wants to use the field. Okay? All right, makes sense. So that's all I have as far as committee reports, so we can go right to the agenda.
No old business? Oh, that was part of old business?
We don't know right now. We're going to go over our agenda right now, Ms. Crenshaw. Can you just give us maybe a few minutes? Okay. All right, so we can go, well, old business. I sent an email to Dr. Smith to send to all of the principals about Congressman Bowman's art competition. He wants submissions by May 5th, and he wants all high schools to submit photos of artwork no larger than 26 by 26 to put at the Capitol building. That's all I have for old business. We can go into our, anybody else have old business?
We'll table it for next meeting, agenda.
Okay. All right. Rita, go ahead. Who? Okay. We're going to start our resolutions now. All right?
Can I have a motion for 6.1, Human Resources, 78A, certified?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.2, Human Resources Resolution 78B?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.1, authorization to pay Mount Vernon STEAM Academy teachers to chaperone students to ACE mentoring program?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.2, adoption of the 2023-2024 school calendar? Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.3, approval of updates to after-school programs?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Question. Question, what's the updates? What's the difference? What's the difference? Just personnel? Okay.
Personnel, additional personnel, substitutes, and I believe there's an RTI update for Edward Williams School, as some of the teachers no longer work in that building, and some have resigned from the district, and she needs to replace those teachers.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Duggan.
You're welcome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.4, authorization to pay Mount Vernon STEAM Academy teachers to attend Project Lead the Way online trainings?
Motion.
I need one, okay. Questions, concerns, discussions?
I have a question. I noticed that the teacher one teacher that's in this program is the same teacher that's going to chaperone the STEAM Academy kids to the ACE mentoring program. So that teacher is going to be getting paid twice.
They're different times.
But-
If you look at, go ahead.
Sorry, but it says Monday to Thursday. The ACE program is on Tuesdays. So that one teacher is going to be doing dual, going to be getting paid twice.
If you look at the times, Monday through Thursday, it's 7 to 9 p.m. And every Tuesday from 3 to 7 p.m. So once she finishes on Tuesday, she will then log on to Zoom, to that workshop.
Question, and then she goes back to work the next day?
Yes? Yes. So there's no double dipping. It's when she finishes at 7, she starts the other one at 7. But it's just that Tuesday.
So
And if she
we
starts at 7:15, that's when she logs on, she'll get paid for 7:15.
So no other teachers volunteer, is it
No other
voluntary?
No other teachers apply?
No other teachers apply? Because this teacher is getting paid, they're getting paid for the ACE to chaperone, and then they're getting paid again for this other program.
I believe this one is a she's the actual teacher that's getting the training for this, but as far as the ACE mentor, it is voluntary. So I would have to check with Lillian Morales, but she selected the names.
She selected the name?
Yes.
She selected the teacher twice?
Yes, but when we went through it, we made sure that she let me know that the times were different. So, for example, if you have a teacher that may work after school 3 to 5, and then they have another program that works from 5 to 7.
So I think
No, I
trustee Lauren is
understand.
asking,
Yeah.
are there any other teachers who
That
would have
would-
been interested in either of those? Is that,
Yeah, right. I
Okay.
mean, the same teacher is being paid, again,
Were there any
for
other,
different roles.
were there
I
any
mean,
other
there's other
volunteers?
teacher that would,
Okay, that wouldn't come to me. I just received the information from Ms. Morales.
can we find out from Ms. Morales?
oh, that's it, that's it.
Sure.
Thank you.
So you want to pull this? Okay.
May I have a motion to table 7.4?
Motion, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. We're going to table 7.4, okay? Okay, great. Okay. Can I have a motion for 7.5, authorization to hire an administrator for the Sundown program?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
So this is the same administrator that's been there all the time?
Yes. The problem was what he was doing the program, but he's doing it as a teacher.
Okay.
So he got appointed on November 8th as an assistant principal. And on the resolution, his name was taken off, but was never put back on as the administrator. So we had to go through that process.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. On the school improvement, can I have a motion for 8.1, authorization to amend Resolution 8.2, Board approved on 10/25/22 for great potential? Need a motion?
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay. Questions, concerns, discussions?
Yes, could somebody explain the amendment?
So the Great Potential Program is a grant where they manage the college. SUNY Purchase managed the grant and our student benefit. So for many, many years, for 12 years, the program was only at Thornton, and then it was at STEAM. Jasmine Chris, who was the counselor at Denzel, when she moved to the high school, proposed to have one at Mount Vernon High School. They provide tutoring for students, college trip, essay. Also, they have partner schools. For example, students who go to that school, for example, Syracuse, would get half of the tuition every year for 4 years. So they really provide a great deal of services for a student. They have annual college fair that the kids go to the city, to all the SUNY schools and visit.
So that means all the high schools have access to
Now,
this
all the
now.
high schools have a program.
Thank you.
All three.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 8.2, authorization to appoint a data protection officer, DPO?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.1, approval of student services, pupil personnel services memorandum number 15, dated March 15?
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Yes, I have a question. This is to hire additional staff. Can somebody explain for Dr. Smith? Oh, Dr., who's
I'm,
gonna, oh.
I'm sitting in for Dr. Jones, who's in Rochester.
Okay.
So this is to hire for the summer program for a student or autistic student or students in those programs. It is something we always do. Later on, we'll submit a resolution for the staff. We haven't advertised for it, but this is to approve to have that program start.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.2? Approval to accept memorandum of agreement with Mercy College for the purpose of serving as the LEA for the HART grant.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Yes. As the lead agency, LEA for HART, can you explain?
So about 4 months ago, we were approached by Mercy College to provide our district with mental health personnel within our school. It is a U.S. Department of Education grant. The LEA means we were the lead educational agency that would benefit from the $4 million that was awarded to Mercy College. This grant will provide our school counselors with MTSS training, which is in line with Dr. Doggett's RTI. It would also provide our school counselors with pay, so nothing would be paid by the district for staff development. They would also pay for our school counselors to have the American School Counselor Association membership, which comes with insurance. They would also pay for every school counselor in our district to have DI certification to the American School Counselor Association. The biggest part of this grant is every dollar, all $4 million, would be used for the Mount Vernon City School District as the lead educational agency. Thanks to Dr. Smith, we were able to salvage the money. We almost lost the money. We had to do lots of schmoozing to make sure this money came to Mount Vernon. So that's the reason we want the board to look at it. Thank you.
Dr. Cavita.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, on the business office, can I have a motion for 10.1? Authorization to accept management letter for the corrective action plan for the 21-22 school year. I need a motion.
Motion.
Who was that?
Me.
Okay. Questions, concerns, discussions?
Yes, is this Mr. Silva can explain?
There were several parts to the audit. There were several parts to the audit that took place last fall, and this is the final part that has to go to the state as a part of what we have to submit on the business portal, having to do with my corrective action plan, and it requires you to accept that. That's what this resolution is. So it's to finish the fixing of the items in the business office that were mentioned by the auditor in his report.
Right, so is this the district's corrective action plan, or is this just for the business?
This is just for the business. Well, it concerns extracurricular activities, things like that, but it is all related to the business office.
So
There's no other part of it. There's no instructional part of it, just.
No, so this is just, when the audit is done, it's just about the finances and the way, the procedures
Only, yes.
of the business, okay.
Yes.
And so this is the corrective action. Why didn't we get this before this meeting? We asked,
This has been done for a long, long time. I don't know the answer. I didn't know that you didn't. I just don't know.
Right, because I had requested the audit before we had a public meeting, and also I was waiting for the corrective action plan to see what was put in place. That's all I'm asking is, it would have been nice for the board because we could have looked over it.
Yes, I thought that you did have it well before this meeting.
Dr. Smith, did we get that?
So I thought it was before Dr. Smith was actually superintendent that it was
No,
sent.
it was never sent. It was in
No,
the,
I believe it was sent to the former superintendent to send to the board. So I would have to check that.
So we'll ensure that you receive your documents in advance of the
I
meeting.
appreciate that.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Okay. Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.2, authorization to renew EnviroScience for the period of April 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2023. I need a motion.
Motion.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
So what are we extending them to June 30th for?
So this is only for Mike Ragusa for his services to assist with the facilities department. This is not for any work of any kind. This is just for Mike Ragusa, who is essentially managing all of our projects right now. Other board members may wish to speak to that. Everybody has met with him who's on the Facilities Committee. So he ran the project for the Lincoln Cafeteria. He's running the May Medical Project. He's running the elevator project. He's running the...
Mr. Silver?
Yep.
What does our Director of Facilities do?
At this point, he manages the staff for the most part. And as after June 30th, we will have our custodial supervisor, and that will be the end of Enviro Sciences to do with us. So we don't have an assistant facilities director as we did a number of years ago. And so there's just one person on top. And because of the fire difficulties with the fire alarms, and Mr. Ragusa has managed through all of that to get us in compliance, except for the one fire alarm, and he's also managing that fire alarm project as well.
Okay, but he works with facilities, right? The Director of Facilities? Is he working with the Director of Facilities?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.3? Approval of consultant agreement with Rick McCormick to assist with the 2023 school election budget vote.
Motion.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Question. What does Mr. McCormick do according to the election? And who did it before we were putting him up for this?
He did.
He always did it?
Yes. Well, he came back last year to assist the other district clerk.
So he's assisting
The
our
district
clerk?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to get on her wrong side.
Yeah, so this is her first year.
Okay, all right.
So I don't believe we're going to need him after this year. Stand down, Sabina.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.4, approval for merged athletic activities with Bronxville High School, 2023-2024? Need a motion?
Motion.
You're talking among yourself. That's what that's the point I'm trying to make. I can't hear you. You got the mic out there. Mic doesn't work ordinarily. So when you sit in distance, you try to understand something.
I apologize. Seems like it makes a lot of noise when
I'm
it's
not sure if it was on.
It's on. My mic is on. Can you hear me now?
We're trying to be a part of it. We want to be a part of what's taking place.
Not the volume. We
boom
just have
too
to
much.
move
Is it just my mic?
No.
I apologize.
Well, all of you really, when you talk, you got
You're right.
the mic. So in order for us to hear, that's all we're saying.
Thank you.
Okay, I apologize. I do speak low, so
All those in favor?
thank you for
What
letting
happened to
me
the
know.
question?
Oh, approval to merge, questions, concerns, discussions?
Yes, I'd like to know why we're merging with them. I'm sorry.
It says right there. They don't have enough kids.
So they're merging because they don't have
With
Speaking to the mic.
out of district?
No, they're.
That's what I'm asking.
Us.
So Bronxville is coming to Mount Vernon in order,
Yeah, they did
Yes,
last
they're
year.
coming to Mount
Yeah, they
Mount
did.
Vernon. We don't have enough students.
Yeah,
They don't have enough students.
They don't have
so we
enough
merge.
students, so they come and play with us.
so they're just playing with it. They're using our facilities?
No, they're part of our team. They're part of our
I
team.
want to know. I'm a taxpayer. I want to know why kids from Bronxville are coming to Mount Vernon. That's all. Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.5, approval for merged athletic activities, 2023-2024? Need a
Motion?
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. I have a motion for 10.6, authorization to approve a short-term contract for the assistant videographer until June 30th, 2023.
Second.
Was that? Was that you, first motion?
Yes.
Okay. And Saunders. Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.7, authorization to participate with other school districts of the Southern Westchester Board of Cooperative Services joint bid FY 2023-2024?
Motion.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.8, authorization to accept a donation from Ms. Glendora Blue?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.5 to approve the settlement for tax proceedings for 30 South Fort LLC, 590 East 3rd Street, Owners Corp., JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A., Richtown LLC, The Chocolate Factory LLC, Vernon Manor Cooperative Apartments, Section 1, 105 Monroe Apartments LLC, and 154 West Lincoln Avenue Corp. Need a motion?
Motion, but you said 10.5.
10.9.
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Questions, concerns?
I'm done.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.10? Approve general funds transfer 2022-2023, March 15, 2023. Need a motion?
Motion.
Okay, Saunders and then. Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.11, authorization for Sovereign Engineers to provide construction management services for Grimes Annex demo?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion, 10.2, authorization to end stipends for the 2022-2023 school year?
10.2.
That's 10.12.
10.12, what did I say?
10.2.
10.12.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 10.13, authorization to approve a transfer of $1.1 million from the capital budget codes to help fund various emergency repairs, charter schools increases, and security increases?
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. I have a motion for 10.14, authorization to approve the hiring of temporary accountant staff from Robert Half International, Inc. for the 2022-2023 fiscal year.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, so let's see. Questions, concerns, discussions?
Question.
I have a question too, yeah.
Go ahead, you go.
Well, was this position on OLAS? How was this, well, have you advertised for this position?
So this is to, we're not hiring anybody else. From this, if we need to, we will, or we're asking you if we can. But this is to take care of the senior accountant person who was a temp, she was what was called temp to perm. So that was a person whom the board appointed a couple of meetings ago, and so she stopped being from Robert Half, and she's now our employee. So this is related to that. We're not hiring, we're not using them anymore at this time. we did speak to them about certain senior positions in the business department, and they're unable to provide somebody at the level that we were talking about, which could have been a CPA level or a senior payroll type of person. They do not have that type of people who work for them, so we have to continue our own searching and training.
So how else have we searched? Do you know?
We have contact, so through OLAS, that reaches all the school districts. We have also called a number of school districts when people here know people in other school districts to see if we can get people to come to work for us. We put out postings within the school district, and so far, there's just one position open at this point in that area.
So how else do we advertise? Do we advertise in the paper? Do we advertise?
We do not advertise other than on OLAS. In the school community, everybody looks at OLAS, and these positions really require municipal type of experience. So we can't advertise in the New York Times as we used to do years ago. That's just not possible.
Ms. Tiggs, can you speak on that, please? How do we advertise? Is it just OLAS?
So, as Mr. Silver said, we advertise on OLAS, and civil service positions are obtained, as you know, through passing the civil service test. So, one of the ways that indirectly positions are advertised for is when civil service offers a test. So this position, they offered a test for 2 years ago. The person who, I think there were 2 people reachable, and the business department did interview them. Nonetheless, they didn't meet all the criteria that they were looking for at the time. As you know, we're working very closely with civil service on a number of matters right now. We did just repost for a provisional payroll specialist. I will let you know of CSEA right now, all of our, outside of 3 head custodians, 3 custodians, we only have 2 other vacancies. One is the payroll specialist, and the other one is the newly created senior cashier. So we've done a lot in the past year, filling positions because they had a test for senior cashier. The senior accountant that we just recently hired is provisional, so it's contingent upon passing a test. Some of the positions that we have filled recently, like senior accountant, like the purchasing agent, they are provisional, but at this time, all positions are filled. They just had a test for a principal clerk. We had a provisional one. She was on tonight to move from provisional to probationary. But it is primarily OLAS, and the test hopefully attracts people to take it, and people passing tests will give us a new pool of candidates. We also now have where people can apply for positions directly to the district on the district website. So we're starting to use that as well, so that if people in the community or not are looking at our website, they'll see those opportunities.
Thank you. That's very informative. Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 11.1, authorization to approve a settlement agreement with employee number 604?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 12.1, authorization to enter into an agreement with the County of Westchester?
Motion.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 12.2, authorization for the Board of Education to permit Trapphagen School to accept the gift of a lilac tree to be planted on the property?
Motion.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
I think there was a question about the, when they're going to do it, if they're going to have some money from the grounds department shovel a hole. Do you know if that was arranged?
That I sent.
You looked into
Yeah,
that?
yeah, we're looking into that now.
Okay, all right.
All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries.
Okay.
Okay. Whew. Communication from the public.
Ready?
There is no legal requirement to recognize public comments at the meetings of the Board of Education. However, the board recognizes the critical importance of community discourse and involvement in the education of Mount Vernon's children, and accordingly, members of the public are invited to speak at each regularly scheduled board meeting, subject to the terms of the board policy. A speaker must register in advance by no later than 4 p.m. the day of the meeting by contacting the district clerk in person at 165 North Columbus Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, by phone at 914-665-5235, or by email. The board welcomes all respectful comment, whether praise or criticism. However, identifying and criticizing a specific student, parent, teacher, administrator, or other Mount Vernon education official or employee is strictly prohibited. Any such complaint must be presented and addressed through proper administrative channels. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes to speak. Up to 1 additional minute may be used for the speaker to summarize and conclude their remarks. If appropriate, board trustees and/or the superintendent or other staff members at the direction of the superintendent may immediately respond to a speaker's remarks. Our first speaker tonight is Janine Fatil.
Good evening. Does it sound?
No.
Is it button? No, I can't hear you.
Good evening. My name is Janine Fertil, and I'm the parent of 3 children in the Mount Vernon City School District. I'm here to speak on behalf of our children in the Mount Vernon City School District. First off, as a parent in the Mount Vernon City School District with 3 children that I have never removed from the Mount Vernon City School District. My kids have attended Mount Vernon City School District from pre-K, and my oldest is in 10th grade. So I'm a parent that's very invested in the children of Mount Vernon City School District, and I kind of feel like tonight was a little bit of a slight because I do have 3 children at home, and to push public speaking back so far, I have 3 children at home right now. And it's really unfortunate because I'm here to speak on behalf of 3 children that I have in this school district. So I really feel like some consideration should have been made to at least people that have children in the Mount Vernon City School District, because now my 3 children are home without me. You know, this is time that I could be spending with them as opposed to sitting in the back of the room waiting for a chance to speak on behalf of children in the Mount Vernon City School District. I really wish, that was taken into consideration. My first thing is when teachers are absent, I wish parents were notified so that they know that their child attended school with no instruction time. When teachers are absent, kids are given busy work. Sometimes kids are put into other classrooms with kids who are not the same age with them. And parents are under the assumption that their kids went to school for instruction time. So we can create all these different methods of instructions, but if students are not receiving instruction, they can't benefit from any of it. Before we had remote learning, we had asynchronous learning. Class assignments can be posted on Schoology. You can, let parents know that their children are not receiving any kind of instruction. I personally don't need babysitting services. I appreciated the times during COVID when there was remote instruction because I can sit next to my child and see what they were being taught, and I could support them afterwards. I do agree with the need for more reading specialists. I have a personal story. My daughter, kindergarten into first grade, she struggled with reading. With the help of the reading specialist and my son's teacher, she went from reading level A to reading level F by the end of the year. I wish more kids had the opportunity because we have way more students that need reading support than we do have specialists. When I first went to the school that my kids are at, we had 4 reading specialists. Someone said they didn't see the importance of reading specialists, so they had them substituting classes, they had them, proctoring exams, everything except being reading specialists. We really do need reading specialists. They are important. Also, the math specialist would be a great addition as well. Also, as the PTA president of the STEAM Academy, I'm a parent, and I'm also the PTA president of the STEAM Academy. Some parents expressed that they would love to have the option of how attendance notifications are sent. I was telling parents that they do send attendance notification. If your child doesn't check in by 9:30, 10 o'clock, there's a notification that's sent to you to let you know that your child hasn't scanned in the building. In the past, I have received these messages via text messages, but I think now I receive them in email. So parents wish they had the option on how these notifications were sent to them, because me, again, I have the luxury of having access to both email and text messages throughout the day, but unfortunately, some parents, they can't check emails all day long. So, parents would love the option of how attendance notifications are sent. I love seeing all the programs highlighted for the new Mount Vernon High School. However, we have a STEAM Academy, a Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math Academy. We would love to see programs like computer science, programs like some of the programs highlighted here incorporated in the STEAM Academy. We'd love to have partnerships within the STEAM Academy. We would love for our school to be what we expected it to be when Dr. Ning was here. When he gave his vision at the board of what a STEAM Academy was supposed to be, I was like, there's no reason I have to send my child out of district. However, when I got there, I was really, really surprised. And I believed as a parent with 3 children in the Mount Vernon City School District, I could make a difference. I believe we would turn this into a maybe somewhat similar to Bronx Science, something even close. I know we don't have the money, but something close to it. I still would.
Ms. Patil, your time's up.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we also had, we used to have the Lehman College Pipeline to College program. This year has been non-existent. I would love for programs like that to come back. And also, if parents need to sign up as presenters to have more time to speak, let us know, because we have a lot to say. We would love to have our school board trustee representative speak to parents. We want to be involved. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Dr. Bethany Letty.
I'd like to thank the board and Dr. Smith for the opportunity to speak tonight and represent the parents and the teachers of the Pennington School. I'm Dr. Bethany Letty Flannery, Vice President of the Pennington PTA. I would like to recognize those who came in support of our issues tonight. Our President Ben Kachansky, Janine Fertiel, and Pamela Valvadinos. And the first issue I would like to address is district-wide after-school programs. In September of 2022, Ben Kachansky and Lourdes Clark spoke about a program for after school, the Erudite Olympiad program run by the Urban Youth League. We spoke about it to the board. We were told at that time that 10 after school programs were being considered by the district. I was told personally by Dr. BC that an announcement will be made in October about an after school program, and no after school program was ever announced. We have no comprehensive after-school program in the district. We do have small enrichment programs at our school that last until 4 o'clock, but we have no after-school. The single biggest issue that parents need assistance with is after-school care. The second biggest issue that parents ask me about every day is district-wide sports. An after-school program needs to be both challenging, engaging, and inspirational for the students. It needs to offer enhanced learning opportunities in math, science, and reading. It should challenge children mentally and physically, and it should be more than just a babysitting program. It also needs to be organized. It also needs to be available for parents to sign up in August before the school year begins, as many parents already begin enrolling their children in activities in August. They need to know that their children will be taken care of and when they're at work. The Erudite Olympiad program solves both major issues of parents, offering comprehensive after-school from 3 to 6 p.m. with homework support and multiple enrichment programs, including flag football, sponsored by the New York Jets, basketball, sponsored by the WNBA New York Liberty, soccer, sponsored by Major League Soccer. It has a robotics program and a Lego club. The program can also be run during half days and school breaks. The program also has a fee structure that can work with students who qualify for free or reduced lunches. I know that Dr. BC obtained a grant for after-school programs, but I believe the funds have been frozen, and we're wondering why those funds have not been used directed towards after-school. This program doesn't cost anything to the school except potentially additional security guard hours. The parents pay for the program either at the market rate or qualify for a reduced cost. This program is a win-win for parents, students, and the district. And this program is already operating in the New York City School District and the Bronx. I'd just like to say that I second what our previous presenter talked about, how sports enrich the lives of our students and communities. It brings communities together. It bonds students together in both victory and defeat. Sports build listening skills, discipline, confidence, improves mood, health, and keeps kids off of electronic devices. That's my first program. Well, I'm over too. You got to put another 3 because I signed up to speak about 2 things. Are there any questions about after-school programs? Is the board going to address why the after-school programs were never considered or approved when they were presented in September?
We have been in the process of looking at various after-school programs. We support after-school programs, and you should see some programs in our buildings shortly.
Are you guys willing to consider this program that I'm presenting? Would you like to have more information from the founders of the program?
Yes,
We
you can
received-
give us, do you have it?
Yes.
So we will look at the program, and we will make a decision for if it fits in the school district. But all the board members, and I'm the #1 advocate for after-school programs. So I'm with you with the after-school programs. And so we're working on that for September.
Is the board going to get feedback from the parents about what they're interested in after-school programs?
Yes.
Because I think it's a major issue.
Yes.
So Trustee Kerwin and I have spoken about the after-school. She is really supportive of it. We've met several times in the last few weeks, and we can get input from the parents as well.
Okay. I would encourage you definitely to also reach out to all of the PTA presidents from our 11 pre-K through 8 schools who have the ear of the parents, and we would be interested in being part of this decision-making process since it does affect our students and our children. The second issue that I signed up to speak on is the impact of the budget freeze, specifically on the Pennington School.
So I think that you only had 4 minutes.
I signed up for 2 separate issues. Yes, I did.
She said she wanted to speak about it, but she didn't sign up separately. She's going to mention it. Did you get in touch?
I sent 2 separate emails to sign up for 2 separate issues to address.
Okay.
But that's during the same period.
Yeah.
I moved my schedule twice. I moved 15 patients to be able to be here.
Why don't we do this? We have other people that's waiting. If you want to come back, you
That's
could do it.
fine. I'll wait.
Ms. Cynthia Crenshaw?
Good evening, Cynthia Crenshaw. A couple of things. I believe this change of the school board meeting is to discourage the public from coming to speak. I heard it's supposed to be about the children, but the children are not attending every board meeting. The majority of the speakers here are concerned citizens of Mount Vernon. Is it possible for you to meet one night with your agenda and address the public concerns at another meeting, like the city council? If your agenda is to discourage the concerned citizens, you are totally and irresponsible, out of your lane. We will push for perseverance. Okay? The resolutions that you brought up and all you guys was voting on, did we need to hear that? Can't you just vote on it at your meeting? Why do we have to be here to hear that? The second thing, the test you are forcing our 8th graders to take isn't fair. You gave them notice last week and expect them to take a test this week. Our children lost 2 years of service. The test was announced on February 2nd meeting. The parents I spoke to and that contacted me wasn't aware that it was a school choice night. If this test was important, the administrative staff at each school should have reinforced the importance of this test. This is a form of segregating our children and forcing them to go to the high school. There's nothing wrong with the high school, but you should be able to go where you want to go, and this test should be implemented in 2024. Third, why do we not have attendance teachers? Why was the attendance teachers removed? Maybe if we had someone in that position, a lot of negative issues and situations could be avoided. If a child has a lot of absences and parents cannot be in total agreement with the school staff, perhaps CPS can get involved and a child could be saved. If you don't know, there's a video going around by one of our schools of a young girl being assaulted. An assembly was held and comments were made such as, "You should have told someone what happened. How did your parents raise you? Did you consent?" etc. According to the Me Too movement, if you're not aware, some women do not speak about a situation for years. And if you would like me to forward you the video I received today, I would be more than willing to do that. I understand prior to the peanut situation at Mount Vernon High School, there was a couple of children in the elementary school that had to go to the hospital for peanut reaction and eatables, whatever you call that stuff that marijuana is in, from different bodega stores. If something happens to any of our schools, we will be in deep, deep trouble. The information should be shared and not swept under the rug. Anything that goes on in one school should be shared to all the schools. Before I do that, and I just want to speak to Facebook and the parents out here. Be concerned and careful who you vote for. Everything I spoke about tonight, every parent should be concerned about it. Let your vote count and vote for people who have you and your child best and favorable concern. We need more transparencies coming from our school board. And one more thing, I would like to, no, I don't. Another question is, are we paying 2 superintendent salaries? One for Dr. Smith and one for Benny Conroy. Are we paying 2 superintendent salaries? The last thing is that I want to apologize at your last meeting if I came out of character and hurt anyone's feeling on the board and people outside. But I was caught up in my feelings along with other people about the changing of the guard. And we did not have an explanation, and we did not like it, and we voiced our concerns. But getting back to Facebook and the parents, vote. The only way you can make a change is to vote. If they are not concerned about us, like changing this meeting, making us wait till almost 10 o'clock at night to speak, forcing our kids to take a test that they just gave the kids this test last week and want you to take it down. I went to the school myself.
Ms.
The
Crenshaw?
students did not know about the test.
Ms. Crenshaw,
They-
your time is expired.
Okay, yeah, but I waited for you. But anyway.
Thank you, Ms. Crenshaw.
Please vote and think about what I am saying. Otherwise, we cannot have any changes in this school board. I've been a part of the PTA since 1983.
Thank you, Ms. Crenshaw. You have a great day.
Ms. Crenshaw?
Vote. You made us stay here till 10 o'clock. Now you rushing up.
Ms. Crenshaw,
Vote.
I
That's the
appreciate
only way we're going to make any change in this school board system. I'm telling you.
Our next speaker, Brenda Crump.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start with the change of the meeting. That was going to be my last thing. I would close out with that, but I'm going to start with that. Speaking as a former school board trustee and a parent, taxpayer, homeowner, voter, registered voter that votes, I would not have changed the meeting. I understand why you did it. People may not remember everything you say to them. They might not remember everything you do to them, but they will remember how you did something. So my understanding is that this was, I don't know, expected for some people to be a heated meeting, people to come. And so for the time of public comments to be changed like this, and put towards the end, I believe could have been done better. Please don't think that just because something is posted on the district website that you have notified the community. Hold my time.
Time out.
Sorry about that, y'all remote. It was sitting on the edge. I didn't see it. Sorry. So please don't think that you have communicated with your community just because you put something on the website. Whenever you want to communicate with the community, please try to use all modes of method of communication that you can to try to communicate. A better way to have done this would have allowed the meeting to go forward as it has been, and then make your announcement at this meeting to say to the community that that's what you wanted to do. Because you as the school board trustees, you have the power, you have the authority, so you will do whatever it is that you want to do, and you're going to do what you want to do, but there's a way to do it. So with that said, I want to talk about the tax. So we're going to go for another 0% tax levy. I believe if that's correct, if I understood that correct. And then the budget will be 269 million if there aren't any changes. But the budget is going to be done with no cuts to the children's programs, and from monies from the restricted funds and monies from hopefully the state and elected officials, if I'm correct in what I heard and process and understanding. Am I correct with that? Somebody just say yes or no for that. Yes. Thank you. So that's great. I mean, as a homeowner, taxpayer, and many of you know, a widow, and so my income has changed. That's great if we can do that without any cuts to the program for children. We just need to see how that's all going to pan out, because we don't quite have bird in the hand, so they say, or money from the state or elected officials. And generally, you know, these 0% tax levy eventually is going to catch us. As a homeowner, I know that to improve or maintain the value of my home, I have to make some financial investments in it. At some point, we're going to have to make some monetary investments. We're going to have to pay some taxes. I'm not for taxes, but I'm for not getting hit on the back end somewhere with a high amount. We just need to learn how to manage our dollars that we collect from the taxpayers. I also want to talk about if you would please give a follow-up, an update to when Reverend Morton was here, our controller, and he spoke about the 2020 to 2022 taxes that the school district was supposed to be collecting, and about a notice being sent to the controller to the city and about it being certified. So my question is, has that been done yet? Will you please give some update on that? Because my understanding, based on what he said, is that the city couldn't move forward with collecting some monies or something until, my time is up? My God. Until that has been done. So please look into that. And lastly, and I will sit down, is that yes, we are paying 2 salaries, and I was a trustee, so I know that you are privy to some information that we as the lay people aren't in making your decision. I'm just hoping that the decision, you were given whatever information that you made your decision, because if we're saying we don't have monies, and then we're paying double salaries, and then to move people out of positions and now have to fill that position, like our current acting superintendent, that position has to be filled. We are paying a lot of monies. So I'm going to sit down now because that's my time, and I haven't been here in a minute or so. Thank you. I don't want to be like, on my first time out. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Ray Copeland?
That's me. Hello.
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 I'm gonna go, I swear, you're taking up 2 minutes of my time already. How's everybody? I wasn't sure what I was gonna speak on when I came here tonight. 5 districts has been, what? You can't hear me? You got no problem with that. Testing 1, 2.
Mr. Copeland, your time is running.
Hello. It's so nice to be here tonight. This has been a great experience for me. I was wondering what I was going to speak on the way here tonight, but after I sit there and listen the best that I could to find out what was being said, Mr. Silver, I want to say thanks to you because in your presentation for the budget, I heard 0 numbers several times, and I started clapping my feet because that's one of the things we've always wanted in this district, for people that know how to go out and get grants and stop coming to the taxpayers or the homeowners to cover up for what expenses that need to be done in the school. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for going out, getting grants, getting money from different places where people that know how to get money and bring money into the district. I appreciate it. Once again, I want to say, I was going to speak on how we're going to save our community. And I was thinking on the way over here, I said, well, it would be nice because our children always had said we had nothing to do, no place to go, but get in trouble. But sitting here listening tonight, I heard several things that could be taken in to occupy and keep our children busy if y'all choose to do so by the things that I heard tonight. I appreciate that. I want to also say that I'm glad to see that y'all are operating in a very professional way among y'all. There's no arguing. I can't say what happened in the back room, but when you come out here, you seem to be crystal clear on what you're voting on. Some question was asked and some was not asked. Maybe it wasn't necessary because you talked about it in the back room. I appreciate that because you're on TV and you represent Mount Vernon. Other people don't have to know what we're doing all the time. Let's just get our act together, bring the community in on whatever you are attempting to do. It makes it easy for us to vote for you because we watch you, and maybe it was a good thing that y'all did change it, maybe, because we got a chance to sit here and watch how you vote. You can't say, well, I didn't vote for it. Other person vote. All of you voted for it tonight. So whatever direction that you seem to be going in, I'm pleased, and y'all know I ain't that easy to please. For the first time, I sit here, and I enjoyed the meeting. Although it's shortly after 9 o'clock, it doesn't bother me because I'm used to it. when the other people was sitting up there where y'all are sitting, we was there at 1 o'clock in the morning, fighting, physically. Called the police on me. You remember? And when the police came, we was together. They came down to arrest me, and all of y'all came down and said, we going too. Take all of us. 1 o'clock in the morning. So this doesn't bother me. We have to learn to put more time into our children. And I'm fortunate enough that all of my children that came through the school district has retired, and they are working for the district at this time, which I am so happy that my children work for this district, because there was a time they wouldn't give me the privilege of working for this district.
Copeland?
Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah,
I love you too.
your time is up. Thank you.
I love you too. Maybe more next time, but that's it for tonight. I appreciate it. Love you.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Have a good night.
Frank Cromer? Is he here? Frank Cromer? No? Okay. Warren Mitchell?
Good evening.
Good evening.
The public comment was moved to this time strategically for a reason, to deter people from coming out to speak. And to deter people from coming out to speak and to stop people from hearing us, the Facebook views are down lower than they were in the beginning. Okay. Heartbreak and tragedy struck again as yet another student of our district was murdered, this time during school hours. What happened to the attendance teachers and truant officers? The text alerts to parents about absent students are known to be spotty at best. I pray for the family and friends of the young man and hope that all district responsibilities were met. There are current long-standing board members for the past near decade that have run on platforms that boasted fiscal responsibility, tax revolts, and special education quality as some things they championed. Yet we are in fiscal stress, and students missing special education services for the past 6+ years continues, even though board leadership has helmed the chair of the Special Education Committee for many years, and states year after year that requested audits were never received. That speaks to effectiveness, sense of urgency, and competence, period. $11 million owed from the city in the last 4 years is a lot of money, but that would have been offset by the $14 million we would have collected from normal tax increases over the past 8+ years. The same taxes members of this board told the people to vote down. The $10 million the school district overpaid to the IRS as a boo-boo would have also been great to have right now, I think. I'm certain we would not be in distress as well as have a healthy fund balance if those missteps didn't occur. Where is fiscal responsibility and quality spec education there? You heard it mentioned tonight, nowhere near enough money for many of the crucial repairs needed in the district and no capital projects next year. But $100,000 is available to pay outside audit company to conduct another audit already conducted by state and district auditors for grants. Where is the audit for payroll? CSCA and Mount Vernon Federation of Teachers employees have been at these recent meetings stating that they are missing money, incorrect amounts being held, late pay, taxes miscalculated leading to taxes owed, and nightmares on tax returns. How many school years will this go on? It's unacceptable. Taxpayers are now paying for legal counsel that the board members need when the board already has Ingham & Smith. How much is that costing taxpayers? I only ask since no board members needed separate counsel when I was on the board, so this is all new to me. The taxpayers being made to pay out on contracts and settlement agreements for people wrongly removed or ran out from their jobs for nefarious agendas, all with no proof or evidence. We're now paying a facilities director 6 figures that is absent from nearly every board meeting, but now needs an assistant. How much will that cost? Turf room at the high school has been in use recently, as of last month, now needs asbestos abatement. That sounds like lawsuits coming. Bottom line, the voters of our city need to realize that voting for the familiar face based on empty accusations with no evidence and holding slander over facts dooms us to same familiar failures year after year. The time is here for a change, but as long as we let the votes of one school zone determined not to pay tax increases and not drive transparency, communication, morals, and accountability, there will be no change, and this board will continue to operate as some sort of organized crime syndicate doing favors for their friends while performing orchestrated hit jobs on others and making this district the last place that anybody wants to come and work or stay. The time is here for the change. That time will be May 16th. Thank you.
Shakur Norfleet. Shakur Norfleet. Shantice Scott. And that ends our public comments. Wait, who's, oh, that one.
Okay. Bethany Letty.
I'm all for community speaking, and I want you to speak, but I'm just saying.
I signed up twice. I'm representing the entire PTA, all of the parents and teachers of Pennington.
All right, so what basically we explained to you, you can't sign up twice. What you do is you sign up and you say your two things within that minute. So,
Well, I was also offered the opportunity to give a presentation, which I would have taken if I didn't no one told me that I had 3 minutes.
okay, so,
And I did also meet with our principal for an hour and a half today to discuss all of these issues, as well as talk to all of the teachers of our school about these issues.
I spoke out of turn. Let me speak to the board members because we don't need no more difficulties tonight. What I can offer you is an opportunity to meet with me individually about whatever it is that you would like to discuss.
I will take you up on that opportunity, but I am disappointing all of our teachers and our principal when they want this information shared with our
All
community.
right, so you hear the outcry. We usually don't have people speak twice during the night. Now, I said that you can, what are we? It's protocol.
And I'm also not one person. I'm not speaking as a person.
From the outside, come up here and make their presentation, they don't even have nothing to do with the school district, they're trying to get into the school district. And you lie them a whole lot of times, so I think she has some good information. I think we should listen.
Stick with protocol.
What do you guys want to do?
What you want to do?
Right, so let him go.
Who else wanted to speak?
Who wanted to?
I would consider also not considering PTA's public comments and perhaps giving the PTAs more consideration, considering what we do in fundraising for our school district and what we do for our
She's
students as
speaking
well.
right now, so why don't you make an appointment with Dr. Smith at some point and have a conversation with her? Okay, who else wanted to speak?
Sorry, you'll have to make an appointment with
Mr.
me.
Murray, would you want to come up and speak?
Dwayne Murray.
You're not going to let me speak again.
They don't want.
I confirmed it with Ms. James.
It's one.
I have no idea.
You only get 3 minutes and the extra minute.
No, they just say that I can't speak.
Good evening. Approximately 10 months ago, I voted for the last elected slate to this board, hoping that educating our kids would rule the day. Unfortunately, recent actions of this board confirmed that my vote was a mistake. Why? Because I didn't vote for political opportunism or the targeting of district employees for retribution. I voted for educating our kids and keeping them safe. This board has lost its way. I could talk about how prior to the start of the school year, approximately 11 of 16 district schools could not receive certification of occupancy. This after passing a $100 million bond a few years ago for infrastructure. Basic oversight would demand a physical and financial review. Instead, this board chose to spend $100,000 on an audit focused on grants. While it's fair to ask questions regarding the Just Inspire situation, the safety of our students and employees demand even greater priority. I could talk about the reassignment of the superintendent during the fact-finding, which goes against recent history where the previous superintendent stayed in place. This action not only exposes the district to possible legal liability, but creates the impression of criminal wrongdoing on her part. It raises questions about board members who voted for Just Inspire multiple times and can continue to make relevant decisions, like hiring an additional law firm to represent the trustees because of your actions. You could have simply kept her in place. God help us if you got this wrong. I could talk about the board's appetite for political opportunism. Your letter entitled Rescue Mount Vernon Schools, which was sent from this board to the New York State Attorney General and Comptroller, suggesting criminality regarding uncollected taxes on the part of the city was exposed for what it really was. To quote our State Assemblyman Gary Pretlow, the letter, quote, seemed like a political hit job against the current mayor, which does not make me happy. But let me talk about the thirst of some board members to carry out their foolish personal vendettas against employees. My fiancée is the parent resource coordinator for the district. Often when she goes to her office at STEAM and throughout the day, many students stop in and talk to her about many things. Last Friday morning, they were waiting for her at her office. As she let the students in, they all began crying because on the day before, another student who also often stopped by her and talked to her was shot and killed. She truly loves her kids. But this Friday, that all ends because she has resigned. Her reason? In her written interview, she stated, it is vitally important that a separation is sustained between the Board of Trustees and the day-to-day management of the school district. Without it, things such as trustees targeting employees based on personal opinions and beliefs can become commonplace. Unfortunately, I've experienced this. In one instance, also known as Pizzagate, board members pushed an investigation even as security personnel confirmed nothing happened. After having to hire an attorney, the investigation proved nothing happened. There are over 45,000 registered voters in Mount Vernon, approximately 7,000 or more students within our district, yet the total votes for school board elections averages 1,000 votes. It's by our own hand and silence we keep allowing this. There are 5 trustee seats up for election this May. Elect truly independent thinkers who have no desire to be a rubber stamp for a wannabe kingmaker. In the coming days, a slate will be presented as